Hello and welcome to Engine Adventures review of this 2023 Lexus RX 350h. This particular one is a pre-production model, so there are going to be some little quirks and things with it. If you see some fitment issues that aren't perfect, that's going to be pre-production stuff, so don't worry about all that. It's also means I have some limited things I can do with it. There's no 0 to 60 timed runs and things like that, just because it's not quite finalized. It might be a little faster or a little slower in the actual production version than what we're seeing here, so no instrumented tests like that. This thing is really quite nice. I've been really enjoying the smooth, quiet ride. The power is actually pretty darn good. I wasn't expecting it, as it's only, drawn a blank, 258 horsepower and 233 foot-pounds of torque, 246 horsepower and 233 foot-pounds of torque, and that's the combined with the electric. But because the electric motors help so much down low, it really gets up to speed easily. If you're trying to go extra fast, it's not going to do that, but it feels effortless under normal driving conditions, you know, even merging onto the freeway and stuff like that. It seems to get up and go really quite well. We'll talk about that more in the on-road section. As far as the exterior styling goes, I like everything about it except for the grille. I know a lot of people aren't as into this Lexus front grille, but I don't know why. This one, I just, it's kind of almost a mix, as it is a hybrid, you know, with the flat grille here transitioning into the open grille down below. It's, you know, a EV wouldn't have all those openings there, and so the top of it's kind of EV-esque and the bottom of it's kind of internal combustion engine. I don't know, it has an interesting design to it. It's not my favorite, but the rest of the vehicle, I believe, is really quite beautiful. And it does have non-functional fog lights, so that's just an extra set of driving lights. But you can see this light right here, and that's a turning light. So when you turn to the left, for example, this light will pop on and light up the road out here, give you a little better view in the corners. The headlights are really bright. I do like them quite a lot. They're great LED headlights, and yeah, overall the exterior design I think is really good. Let's take a look under the hood. 2.5 liter engine, and it doesn't put out a ton of power. Adding in the electrics to it increases the power quite a bit, the electric motor and all that, but it is pretty fuel efficient. Again, pre-production, I don't have the exact numbers for this one, but it should get better fuel efficiency than the previous generation. And if you want more power, there is the RX 500 that will be available, and it is the similar layout as the Highlander and the RAV4 and all that stuff, where it's going to have the motor generator 1, motor generator 2, and the CVT runs in conjunction with those, so it's not a belt-driven CVT. The electric motors play into that. It's a very cool gear-driven system instead of having belts. It's a little too complex for me to explain without graphics and diagrams or displays of it to explain it all, but it does have a couple of electric motors that work in different ways, and I'm not sure on this one. We'll get a look underneath in the off-road video, but it might run the rear axle electric only. I'm not 100% on that, so we'll check back on that. Let's start at the back here. This one is equipped with 4-pin wiring and receiver hitch, but let's go inside is really what I want to show you. And you saw me kick to open that. You can just wave your foot under there. It's got the sensors, and you can adjust the height and lock it and close it from here, of course. And it does have separate sections, so you can fold down just the center section there if you want, if you got long skis or whatever, and you can still take 4 passengers. There's a 12 volt regular outlet here, and on this side has the 1500 watt 120 volt grocery hooks that flip down. You can put the cover in here and it would stay there, and then you pull it forward and latches there. If you want the cargo cover underneath, my hands are freezing because it's windy today. You have a spare tire, your jack, all your tools and stuff that lifts up, and plenty of tools there to get what you need to. This is where the battery is located, the 12 volt battery. If you can find right there's a 12 volt battery under this battery cover. Do not put weight on the cover. So you're okay because you've got this, but when it's just the cover itself, just right there, if you put too much weight on there, you could have problems. Anyway, that's where your 12 volt battery is. And anyway, there's I think this, yeah, comes out, and you can pull this cord to pop your fuel door open. And again, fit and finish, not 100% because this is pre-production, so like the end of that string I imagine would be a loop for the actual production version rather than just the string. And you can see it sits open just a hair. It should be closed in, but anyway, pre-production stuff, it's not a big deal. Here in the middle row you have the power seat functions there, and I didn't talk about those, but they're here on the back as well. So you can fold it from the back, from the middle, and you can use it to recline. Hold it till you hear the beep, and then it will open and close on its own. Takes a minute. This is where I prefer mechanical, well, of course it's still mechanical, but I prefer standard systems without the electric motor to the electrics because they take so long to do. But the seat is currently in the position where it would be when I'm driving as far as leg room. So tons of leg room here in the back seat, plenty of room. It does have the window shades that you can pop up as well. And the door handles, I guess we'll just go over now. So to open it, you just push it, and that's electronically actuated. I'm starting to get used to it. It's taken me a little bit to get used to it, but I actually like it because you got something in your hands, you can't use it. You can just push on that with the back of your hand to open it. When you're cruising, the doors lock, it'll disable that electronic thing, so you can't, your kids or whatever just can't easily pop it open. If the mechanism were happen to go bad on you, you pull this twice and it will open. So I do like the redundancy there, especially on doors where if something goes wrong with the electrics, you still can get out. Heated seats, ventilated seats, USBs, climate control. It's just one zone for the rear, so 3 zones total. And here in the center, armrest, a little bit of storage, and 2 cup holders there. So a decent amount of room and utility back here. Very comfortable. It does have the panoramic sunroof, which would be this guy. And it's probably only gonna go halfway, the first one. Nope, going all the way. So there you go. And then the front half, of course, will open up, and the back half is fixed. But it does open up the rear quite a bit. It gives it an open air feel. There are map pockets here. I do like, they're hard, but have the bungees there. Yeah, anyway, the seat backs are hard. As you can tell, my kid's kicking the back of the seat. That's hard and easy to clean. I like the whole design layout of it. The leather, so there's like 3 different kinds of leather here. Perforated, of course, ventilated seats, you need the perforations. This is kind of like a suede, and then this is a very kind of a soft leather. It's almost too slick, but that for the rear seat with kids, that makes it really easy to clean. Of course, Mark Levinson sound, audio system, whatever, and it's pretty good. It's not amazing, but it's not bad at all. And then if you need lighting back here, just touch sensitive lights there. Let's move into the front row. Before we climb in the seat, this is the lumbar 4-way, so in, out, and up and down. And then this one is the thigh support there. So I do like that. I don't really need it, but I know it's definitely helpful for those who do need the extra support there on the front. They can push that back or out or whatever, extend it to add the extra support for your thighs. Again, same door handle here. Fuel door, rear hatch, memory settings for the seats, brightness, trip odometer, which is down there on the bottom left. And this one does have head-up display. So if you remember from the NX, the most recent NX I tested, it does have this same system. So I love this system. And what it does, I'm gonna hit the volume button, and it's gonna be hard to see on camera, but it brings up what your finger is resting on in the head-up display. And so it makes it really easy to search through whatever menus, and then you can hit this button and it'll change what your buttons do. On this side, it's set up for the cruise control features, but you can hit the, whoops, I didn't mean to do that. There we go. Anyway, you can hit a different button and adjust the position of the head-up display. And all of this you can do while looking basically at the road. So you just look at the head-up display, change your point of focus from the road to your head-up display. Your eyes are still up there. You'll still pick up on what's going on around you. This side, it has the parking assist feature. I prefer to park things myself, and I haven't actually tested the feature. It actually said it was unavailable, probably because I'm not in reverse. Oh, seatbelt is unfastened. Anyway, I don't really mess around with the parking features too much. And of course, has a surround view cameras where you can actually see under the car. So if I go on to drive on this side, the car will go transparent, and it shows, it remembers what it saw from the front camera or rear camera if you're in reverse, and displays it underneath the vehicle. So that works both forward and backwards. And then of course, once you get all the way, it'll be completely clear. So I do like these camera systems. It's very clear in this vehicle, and yeah, it works great. This one, you saw the shifter maybe, to shift to reverse, you pull it towards the driver and push it forward, that goes to reverse, towards the driver and down goes to drive. Once you're in drive, you can pull it straight down to get to sport mode, and then neutral, and just pull it to the side and hold it. I have to have my foot on the brake, and it will go to neutral. Park, push the button there. It does have a little cubby right here, but under here has wireless charging. So, and then a couple of USB ports and a 12 volt. Not sure how well that's showing up there, but yeah, looks like it's all right. Anyway, you get some features there. These cup holders, I could not figure out what this button did for a while. So it doesn't feel like it's connected to anything, doesn't feel like it does anything. But let me grab a water bottle here. And you can set your bottles in there, and if your drink is too tall, push it down, and now that cup holder is deeper, and this button will let it come back up. So with the weight of the bottle on there, it doesn't come up very well. But anyway, that's what that button in there is for, if you're wondering. It does have a few different features here. EV mode, the battery's too low for it right now. You'll get like a mile out of the EV mode anyway. It's not a huge feature. Turn your traction control off, and you can just push it once. Traction control turned off. If you push it and hold it, I believe, there you go, turns off the pre-collision stuff, the vehicle stability control, all that stuff will get turned off if you push it and hold it. And then right here is the terrain mode or driving mode. You can see it popping up there on the left, kind of the off-road mode for driving. Center armrest opens either way, so the driver's side and then the passenger has a button right there on the same. So that'll open up either side. And it's not real big, but it's not too small either. It's kind of an okay size. For a vehicle this size, it's what you would expect. It does have a lot of flat real estate up here. Not a big deal. It's not reflective or anything. So it doesn't really get in the way. It's kind of, I don't know, feel like it could be optimized somehow. So you got this big drop, plenty of space back there and nothing there. They don't create a shelf or anything, you know, they don't block it off so you can put stuff in there. Which I don't know how much stuff you want rolling around up there in your dash anyway. It just seems like they could optimize that a little better. And just normal glove box over here. And there's no Monroney window sticker with this because of what it is. being a pre-production, as you can tell there. So I don't know all the features and packages this has on it over a standard model, but I do really love how this one is laid out. And it does have heated and ventilated seats up front, heated steering wheel. I just have it all set to auto, and it actually works pretty well. I should have turned that off. Hopefully that fan hasn't been too annoying the whole time. But anyway, I really have enjoyed this vehicle. I like how it's laid out. I like all the stuff it does. Even though it doesn't have a ton of power, it is quite enough. So for most situations, as I mentioned, it's got plenty of power to get you where you need to go, get you up to speed within reason. And if you're trying to go extra fast and you push the pedal all the way to the floor, it just gives you a little bit more oomph, but not as much as you would expect based on how good the first half of the range feels. There's another weird thing here. When you push the brakes, it brings up those little red bars on the bottom. Not sure why it does that, but yeah, anyway, I like the system overall. Plenty of things. Thinks I said something, or maybe I hit a button somewhere. Anyway, plenty of modifications you can change. Doubt that'll show up. Oh, it looks like it is showing up. So you can see the orange LED kind of flashing under there a little bit. Anyway, all this orange glow. You can change the colors. It's in the footwheels and everything. All that kind of fancy stuff that, you know, Mercedes, BMW, they all have to have these new fancy features. Now it's in the Lexus as well, so you can make those whatever color you want, change the brightness and all those types of things. Yeah, just really well laid out. And I do like the screen, navigation, audio, all that stuff. It all works really quite well in this vehicle. As per usual, didn't connect my phone to it. And it does, yes, it does have the drive modes. And I believe they are set, yeah, to this steering wheel, so you can adjust them there. And then it does have the custom mode. And in the custom mode, you can set what you want. You know, maybe you want steering to be heavier, but you want normal air conditioning, and maybe you want softer driving. So you have heavy steering, softer driving, and then custom mode, whatever, however you want it there. So I've just been driving in normal mode for the majority of my time with the vehicle. Cruising on the freeway in the RX 350 hybrid. This thing is made for this. So it's smooth. It's pretty darn quiet. I haven't been in too many other vehicles that are quieter than this for most situations. We have a pretty strong headwind right now, so it's going to be a little bit louder. And it's kind of effortless. So as opposed to last week, I was in a more budget-friendly vehicle with very little torque. That one, I had a really hard time keeping speed. In this, well, right now we're slowing down, but between the electric motor and the gas engine there, it just cruises along, no problem. It keeps speed. A lot of times I find myself going faster than I want to go, and it's not necessarily rated super high. This one is pre-production. I don't know what that means as far as horsepower and torque goes, but it does have plenty, it seems like. And again, pre-production unit, I've been a little bit nicer to it. It's gonna have some flaws, but overall, it's really, like, I haven't had to put much effort into it to get this thing to get up to freeway speeds or merging into other lanes. It just seems to do what it needs to do. It does it easily and quickly. Like I said, on the freeway, smooth, quiet, controlled. It just glides right along if you're using all the cruise control features, lane keep assist and the adaptive cruise control and all that. It's just super comfortable, easy to drive. All right, here we are at the S-Curves. We are in sport mode. You can see the red gauges. It says sport right there. Because if you're gonna be driving sporty through this kind of stuff, that's probably the mode you'll be in. And actually pretty flat for a Lexus. The seat is holding me quite well with the side bolsters. It could be a tiny bit more supportive, but that's really not bad for a luxury vehicle to have this kind of side bolsters. Really quite planted. I imagine that a lot of that is the battery weight is down low, but yeah, it zips through the corners. A little bit of body lean, nothing crazy. Overall, I was not expecting it to be this good. Obviously it's not AMG whatever, you know, a GLK or GLC, I guess is what it is now. It's not that good, but it's still a very good vehicle for that kind of driving. I got a chance to drive the Lexus in a bit of a blizzard. Right now, it's not as bad as it was, but super well controlled. I haven't really noticed any slipping. I saw the traction control light come on a time or two, but I really haven't had any issues at all, even on the corners, whatever. This thing doesn't really seem to struggle much in slick conditions, and it could be much worse than it is. This is not an ice storm or anything. This, you can see the brown on the road. The salt is definitely melting everything, so there's good traction down on the road. But even when the road was covered completely in snow, this thing just goes right where I was pointing it. And of course, you know, driving smooth. When you're driving in the slippery conditions, every movement you do, make it as slow and smooth as possible. So when you're changing lanes, make it very gradual. When you're accelerating, braking, you do everything as gradual as possible so you're not slipping. But yeah, really this thing is doing very, very well given the weather conditions. So we're gonna find out what happens when we pull the parking brake right here. Don't know if you can see that very well. Anyway, so I already know because I've been messing with it here in the snow, and these are kind of the best conditions to mess with that in because it doesn't really matter. You're just gonna slide. It's pretty slick. So I'm gonna pull on the corner to show you what it does. That's a really good indicator, I would say. And the windshield wipers are frozen down right now, so I can't clear the window for you, sorry. Okay, so I'm on the turn now, pull the brake, and the car goes forward. So when I pull that emergency or the parking brake or whatever, it is pushing all four brakes and pretty powerful. So I don't know what it's really at as far as, you know, is it full brake pressure, half brake pressure, because we are on the snow and it's slipping. But it applies not only the rear as you would expect in a normal parking brake or a hand brake or whatever, but when you're driving and you pull that brake, it applies brake pressure to all four wheels. And we'll try it again right here if there's no cars. Yep, so pull the brake and the car just kind of slides straight forward. I don't know how much you can see my hand on the wheel turning, but anyway, so that's what happens when you pull the electronic parking brake in a Lexus RX 350. Thank you for watching Engine Adventures review of this 2023 Lexus RX 350 hybrid. Really a great vehicle overall. Cruises on the freeway smooth and quiet, has plenty of low end power, maybe lacking in the upper end a little bit, but if you want more, there is the RX 500 hybrid, and gets good gas mileage overall. Quite enjoyable. If you liked what you saw, be sure to hit subscribe, ring the bell so you get notifications when we post new videos, and give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give me a thumbs down and comment and let me know why. If you did like it, be sure to comment and let me know why as well. Let me know what you want to see, and we'll see what we can do. Thanks again. Have a wonderful day.